It's be taking over for this vlog for the next 6 days. I'm going to be the primary protagonist because I have those days off and Maddie is at work. Although she is off next Thursday and Wednesday, so we're hoping to get a lot of words done then, but we definitely need to do some planning and that's something that we need to be doing together. So far this morning I have watched a lot of Pentagon videos. Productively, I have read everything that Maddie wrote over the last 7 days. I am now prepared with the scenes that she's written and I think it's about time I really start working on my own. Although I am gonna let myself just make another little Pinterest board collage of my main characters because I always pull them up to reference them. I've created a cute little landscape aesthetic for the palace now that we're there. It's 3 o'clock, Maddie phoned me on her break at work and was like, "What have you done?" And I had to admit nothing. I now want to make that back as no way I can write like 2,000 words in 2 hours, but I want to have written at least 1,000 before she gets home, so fingers crossed that happens. And I might say I can't chat to you whilst you're on the bus because I need to keep writing and I think she'll respect that. So let's get going. We'll do a 10-minute sprint. I'm going to listen to Nowhere to Be Found by Zozzolini on repeat. I'm not going to think about rereading the stuff because that was what was getting me tied in knots of thinking I'm not good enough, I can't do this scene, and I've already had to delete like 800 words. I haven't mentioned that yet, but a scene that I was working on with A and her guards, where it was felt like filler and it was stopping the progression of the plot that we needed to get to, and I can't have 20,000 words of A before the inciting incident has even happened. It needs to match up with the other characters, so I've taken it out. I'm telling myself that I will get to use the bare bones of it at least later on. I don't know if you can make it out, it's quite small, but here's things I wanted to know the name of, so I typed in a bunch of different things on Google and eventually found them. They're called corbels, so that has made me insanely happy that I can now start accurately describing the architecture of this building, because it was a huge block for me. I realised that I shouldn't be wasting my time when I should be writing doing this research now, but I want to get it right. I feel like describing environments, particularly interiors and exteriors, it's something that I'm not very good at, like the specifics of the thing. To describe this kind of interior, my plan was to just say fancy coving, but I don't think that's good enough. I can get the lay of the land pretty okay, but when it comes to like building up a proper vision in the reader's mind about what something looks like so they can start to see it in its detail, it just doesn't happen for me. It's also not something I've really had to do because I've written contemporary before and that's just houses and schools, so you don't really need to go into it because readers just fill in all the details. But when it comes to architecture, it's a bit more important. It's 5 o'clock, Maddie has phoned me to let me know that she is on her way home, so I'm going to try and write as much as I can before then. I've already written about 900 words today, which I am super pleased with. I wrote a big whopping 0 yesterday. I think that's amazing that I've managed to pull it back, and Maddie is hopefully going to write with me a little bit this evening, and then we might watch a film even later on, but who knows. I think it all depends on how the writing goes, but I think it's important to reward yourself for just doing something. But I was actually really proud of the 900 words that I was writing. As I said, I got really into researching, and then the rest of what I was writing felt like elevated in comparison to what I've been writing before. Normally I'm quite a straightforward, non-metaphorical, I don't use similes, basically anything flowery I'm like, and then I read Maddie who uses a lot of poetic language and just different sentence structures, and I think, oh my gosh, this is so good. My writing just like pales in comparison. So I think it's good to write with her because it really challenges me to get better at my writing so that I can match her, but then she probably thinks the exact same thing about me. I'm going to treat myself with one more video before I start writing again. We hit 30,000 words! That is right on the line. We're only 36 over. Those are the stats for today. We wrote 2.1 and we still have 20 days remaining. Look at that. We only have to write 999 words a day to finish. I'm starting this vlog off a little bit late because I've already written 1.1 thousand words today. It's 20 to 4 now, which is earlier than where I got to 1,000 words yesterday, so hopefully I'll be able to write at least another 500 before the end of the day. I'm feeling very positive about that. I have been writing the same character for the last 12,000 words, and I think it's time that if I'm at least not going to switch to another character now, that I jump a little bit forward, because I'm finding writing chronologically a little bit restrictive. So I'm going to write the scenes that I'm slightly more excited for. They're nothing in Act 2 just yet, but there's sort of a thing that happens after the inciting incident, builds towards the connection between more of our characters, so I think I'm going to try and work on that scene a little bit. And at the moment I'm just trying to write as much as I know before we need to start doing that planning session because I have the rest of today and then tomorrow off by myself as well before Maddie joins me for her days off. Ironically, the same thing that happened to Maddie last week happened to me yesterday. I had my best writing day and I hardly filmed a single thing. I was at 1,000 words the last time we spoke, and then after that I managed to write like another 800 words, and then Maddie got home and we watched Tomb Raider with our dad, and we've already seen that film but he hadn't. We really love it. I hope they make a second one. I've got my fingers crossed, but who knows. And then after that, Maddie was determined to write some words for that day because she didn't want to have a 0 day. So she was just going to do 100. And then I was like, I would quite like to get to like 2.5. And I was like, yeah, I could go for more as well because I've been writing some scenes that I'd been thinking about for a while and it felt really cathartic to just get them out. And I was also writing dialogue scenes as well, which made it a lot pacier. So we wrote a little bit more and we realised we weren't actually that many words off getting 3,000 words for the day overall. So we hit that. And then I was like, I want to hit 3,000 words just me, so we went again. So we were sprinting for probably like 40 minutes, but it was all just flowing out of us. So our end result for yesterday was 3.5k in one day. I'm going to show you our spreadsheet again. As you can see, on the 12th we wanted to hit 30,000 words, but we got there a day early. That's great because it just meant that this was all stretch goals, and we haven't actually filled out any of the rest of the week, and these yellow squares mean that we have days off together. I think originally we wanted them to be mega writing days, like our very first couple of days, but it looks like now we're only going to write like a minimum of 500 words between us per day. But it's okay because we are now 8 days ahead of NaNoWriMo overall. This is the rest of the chart. So yep, as you can see, 30k has been hit there. That is our word count now, 33,554. Where were we with our last project? At 21.7. And we hadn't written that day either, so that's just crazy. Honestly, I wrote like all of my words yesterday. I finished a lot of the scenes that I had in mind, so I'm kind of at a loss of what to write next. I still haven't written that like converging the character scene, the bit that's like building towards that I mentioned earlier. So there is that to do, but I haven't really got any idea how that scene actually plays out. It's one of those things that like, oh, I know it has to happen, but I don't know any of the beats. And then I also have a pretty difficult scene where a secret is revealed to A, and it's something she had no idea was going on at all. It's like a very well kept secret only within the royal family, and so I have to write that scene, but it's like, how do you write something like that without it coming off as like just a big speech? And the thing, oh gosh, she like knows a little bit, like she has a piece of this secret, but she doesn't know that she has it, so it's just gonna be hard. But I did say that I needed to write a different character. So I think my immediate task after putting this camera down will be to read a scene that I accidentally skimmed over when I was reading Maddie's stuff at the beginning of the week. It was the first time that C went into the fantasy world, so I need to reacquaint myself with that, and then I might try and fill in some of the scenes that she left off for B, because I have quite a vision for them. I've got to write at least 1,000 words before Maddie gets home, and she gets home at like 5:30, so that is plenty of evening to write together. So I think we will be doing the majority of my writing then, which frees me up to do other things like reading now. I also realised that you haven't seen our sticker chart in a while. So any days that are left blank, obviously we did write for those, but we just haven't added the stickers to them yet, and I can't do it without Maddie because everyone likes stickers, so I can't take the opportunity for her to put a sticker on the sheet away. But this year we've just been leaning more into the spreadsheet that we created, I think because it's more detailed and we are tracking individual word counts as well, and obviously that one's just a joint word count, so we do have a bit of that on our spreadsheet anyway. It's only like another 1,050 more to go until I hit the daily NaNoWriMo count goal, but I don't think I will. I think I'm going to try and hit 1.6 working with Maddie later on. I'm just so aware of all of the repetitions that I'm using and have used over the last like couple thousand words, and I'm thinking, gosh, this is boring, but I can't delete it because it's got to contribute to my nano word count. I think I might just give up and read until Maddie gets home now, because I really just want to switch my brain off. I did some Pinterest pinning earlier just to try and regain inspiration for them. And obviously this video will end very differently to how I'm feeling right now, because we've still got so much more left of the week. I'm going to include this for posterity, and so hopefully when I watch this back in like a year to come, when I'm preparing for the next NaNoWriMo, I can see that I had low points, but I overcame them. Just look at that significant step between day 11 and day 12. That step broke me. Plus side of all of this is of course that I'm now at 15,000 words overall in my document, which feels pretty good, I have to admit. I'm now going to treat myself to the purest video in the whole world. Pentagon on a giant slide. My favourite thing. Today we've come to Tintersfield House, and therefore we haven't done any writing yet. That's not to say we won't do any this evening, I suppose, but we're shifting gears to... We have made the decision, since we have now made it to 35k, to take NaNoWriMo at our pace rather than trying to get to 50,000 words, which I'm sure we will anyway, but it's not so much a competition about how quickly we can do it anymore. It's been 14 days and we're at 35, so we're pretty sure we could do the next 15 within a week and a half. Because we haven't each written all 3 of the perspectives, we need to regroup, as it were, and have a read through of what we've done so far, and then make a plan for how we want to move forward, because this isn't just a habit for NaNoWriMo. We want to continue into December and then be ready for further draft stages moving onwards too. As expected, this place has been really inspiring, particularly the greenhouses and the orangery, as that's the main setting of A's first chapter. As we're at the halfway point of November, we've decided to reflect a little bit on what NaNoWriMo has given us this year, and it's definitely a more positive mindset when it comes to first drafts, because we're in such a different place compared to last year, where it felt like everything we had to write was perfect, and this year we're definitely holding on to the mentality that 100 words is better than nothing. There hasn't been a day where we've let ourselves write no words, and I'm just really pleased that we're learning more about our collaborative process this time too. So far this NaNoWriMo, we've definitely started to build a routine for ourselves when it comes to writing, and we've increased our endurance for it as well. It gets to the point where even if it's 10 o'clock at night and I haven't written anything, I really don't want to disappoint myself and break the chain, because writing has just come to mean so much more to me in the last couple of weeks than it did the last couple of months. Probably the one thing we haven't said in these vlogs is just how much we're enjoying this story. I love getting to discover our fantasy world, and I think as it's closer to being finished as it is to being started, I realise how much I'm loving this project and how much I truly want to dedicate my time to it. Maybe at the beginning of next year we'll do a refilm of our co-writing process, because I'm sure there are some new things that we've learnt with this project, as we've definitely done more outlining than we ever have before, but that's also where we need to go back to help propel us into Act 2 and 3. Over the next 2 days we set ourselves very low targets of only writing 500 words between us, as we really just wanted to take 2 days to plan. It seems that we've taken more of a day off today, and so tomorrow will be a heavier workload for us, but we've still managed to write 614 words together. We got distracted watching the new Netflix original, She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, and we absolutely love it. We've been watching it over the last 2 days and we only have 3 episodes left, but we wanted to push it into the next day as well so we could enjoy it for 3, and we'll finish that tomorrow morning. Our total word count is 35,896. A tiny little step, but a step nonetheless. The chart is filling up, and I hit 20,000 words on my document overall. Maddie and I didn't manage to film anything yesterday because we didn't start working on the book until really late. We were planning the scenes that I would be writing today, and we came up with some revelations about the plot that we hadn't thought about before, so it was really, really awesome to have a breakthrough. It just shows how much that 2 minds working together is so much better than us trying to sort things out individually. We also came to the decision that we weren't familiarised with each other's work enough, so we needed to group together and go through what we had actually written, because sometimes the thing that's on your plan doesn't actually translate into what you write. We had a couple of instances where we'd forgotten what we'd originally put, so we just made snap decisions to get a word count down, and then we realised, no, this doesn't work as well as what we had planned, so there are a few adjustments that we need to make in the future. We are still powering ahead to 50k for NaNoWriMo, but after we've got there, we've decided to go back to the start of Act 1 again and iron all the kinks out. This means, of course, that we no longer have to worry about planning Act 2 in any detail whatsoever, so we don't think that we're going to get to the end of the book by the end of the year, but we want to be midway through Act 2 if we're going to start revising Act 1. I know they say that you shouldn't revise or you shouldn't edit yourself as you go, but when you have 2 people working on one thing, it's more important to stop and take stock of what you've done so you don't get to the end, look back and see a giant ginormous mess. It's 3:15 now and I'm about to start writing. I'm aiming for 2,000 words today, so I'm going to split that up into 4 500-word chunks. So I'm going to try for my first one writing a scene from C's perspective. It's the first time that I'm writing from a perspective that isn't A, so I bet it's going to be challenging, but I'm excited for it. We've broke the whole scene down into little bullet points, so it's going to be super manageable. I know exactly what I'm doing, and I hope Maddie will be pleased with it when she reads it later. I have written 700 words today, which means I get to check off one box for 500, and I'm going to keep working until at least 1,000, which will hopefully take me another like 15 minutes because I'm really immersed in the scene I'm currently writing. I've got some errands to run in town, so I'm actually going to be leaving the house a little bit earlier than I originally anticipated, so I don't have as much time to write as I thought. It is fully pitch black outside and it is only 5 p.m. This is freaking me out. I'm also in the house alone, so I'm feeling kind of scared right now, and that's good because I'm writing a very atmospheric scene. My computer is just making whirring noises because I decided to start exporting a file which is like 45 minutes long. So my computer is giving up and the internet has completely gone down, so all I am left with is writing, which I think is a punishment for watching Pentagon videos earlier. Speaking of Pentagon, obviously I'm gutted that over the last 2 days it was announced that Edon is definitely no longer a part of Cube. I was kind of in a place where I didn't want it to be announced. I was happy to just live at least a year where they didn't make any official statement about it, so I could just have that slither of hope, like maybe one day he'll be back, and now he definitely isn't, so I'm gutted. But then on the very same day he posted like 3 things to Instagram, and he made his account when Hyuna X'd out of Cube, so I was hoping that he would be a regular poster. I put it on notifications because I was ready for the next post, and then the weeks just kept going by and I was like, oh no, oh no. But now, just like his girlfriend, he's posted like 3 times a day, so my heart is full. Just like Maddie got to talk your ear off about Avatar, I'm leaving this in the video, so you have to listen to my Pentagon Edon chats too. It's 6 o'clock and I've written just under another 1,000 words, taking me to 1.658, which is just about the NaNoWriMo daily word count. I'm going to take a break now to have some dinner. I'm building to the come down of the scene, so I've just got to take it into a different place now, so it's not as like heart pumping as it was when I was in the middle of writing that 1,000 words. I'm going to tick them off on my whiteboard there. I hit 2,000 words for the day and I feel incredible. I basically finished the scene. I haven't finished the chapter, so if I do some more writing this evening then I will probably continue because I'm really enjoying it. It was different to write such an action-packed bit and I really had to think of the choreography, so it was a great challenge. I used some words that I don't normally get to use in my writing, and that is unfortunately where this vlog ends. I had such a productive day on the 16th. I will put our overall nano word count in the corner, and then suddenly my week off was over and Maddie and I were both back to working full time, and writing since then has been very difficult, so we're going to talk about that more in our week 4 vlog, so you can look forward to that. Our attitude has changed noticeably since the beginning of the month, but that, to be honest, is to be expected. I'm going to go watch vlog number 1 for inspiration now to write some more myself, and we'll see you next time.